Former Republican Governor Mark Sanford's extramarital affair and scandal made national headlines back in 2009. Now, it wreaked havoc on his personal life, but it did not end his political life. He was elected to Congress in 2013.
But in 2018, after publicly speaking out against President Donald Trump, he lost his bid for re-election. He shares his story in his memoir that is out today. It's called Two Roads Diverged: A Second Chance for the Republican Party, the Conservative Movement, the Nation, and Ourselves. Joining us this morning from Charleston, South Carolina, former Governor Mark Sanford. Governor, thank you so much. In reading through your memoir, warts and all, you sort of talk about how you get a second chance, and the big news here in New York today, obviously, is the resignation of Governor Cuomo and Kathy Hochul taking over. What does your story say about the possibility that Andrew Cuomo could have a political rebirth?
With due respect, I'm a Southern boy who doesn't know New York politics, so I don't have a feel for what happens there, or what doesn't happen there with regard to his political destiny. I'd say there's some fairly strong differences in our stories, but I'll leave that for other experts like you all to divine.
Governor, you talked about now that Donald Trump is out of office, the Republican Party gets what you call a second chance. What exactly do you mean by that?
I mean, the premise of my book is based on my own life experience of second chances, and what you all alluded to there in the lead-in, where I had an absolute, implosion in terms of life, but then was awarded a second chance by the folks who knew me best here at home. And that sort of chance to recalibrate, the chance for all of us to begin anew, is something that I think the Republican Party desperately needs to do, based on the way in which we have erred from, I think, the roots of what made the party great in the first place, and have moved to something of sort of a tribal movement where it's allegiance to one man rather than a set of ideals, which is what the party was based on in the first place.
Just a part of your book, Governor Sanford, you mentioned a lot of people would come up to me over the course of this campaign and they'd say, are you for or against Trump? And I'd say, I'm neither for or against Trump. Do you still feel the same way as we look in 2020 and seen what has happened over the past year?
I'd say there's more distance that's grown between where I am and where he has been or is. But the larger point still remains true, which was my writing this book was not about being against him. My writing this book is about what I'm for. And what I'm for are the institutions and traditions have been the glue that have held us together as Americans for more than 200 years. Things like the peaceful transition of power, which was interrupted in this last go-round. Yeah. Things like a belief in certain institutions, the fact that the press is not the enemy of the state, that have, again, been part of again, the informal network of things that have held our nation together. And I'm for a set of ideals, which the Republican Party of late has lost. I mean, things like not spending more than you have and coming up with some way of paying for what you do spend used to be a Republican ideal, but it's gone out the window of late. And I think we need to go back to those things to have standing not only as a party, but more importantly, in helping the national debate, which is and should be robust between Republicans and Democrats, between left-leaning ideology and right-leaning ideology. By bouncing those ideas back and forth, we actually end up with a better solution at the end of the day, and we're missing that right now in this age of political tribalism.
Now, you talk about the things that conservatives can do to help calm those political waters, but I think that conservatism is not as popular with this younger generation. You've seen a lot of younger people get dragged on social media for having these conservative ideals. So what can they do in terms of making these political waters just a little bit better of a breeding ground for that debate between the left and the right?
Well, because we haven't had conservatism on the buffet here of late in terms of the political buffet. I mean, if not speaking for my four sons, but I have a sense of their feelings these days. And what they tell me that their friends tell them is, look, if Donald Trump equals conservatism, if this is what the Republican Party is about, then I don't want any part of it. And because though I love mom and dad on a given day, I still want my distance. And yet I still believe in certain ideals that they tried to pass along. And this idea of a complete lack of empathy, this idea of political hubris, the idea of my way or the highway, these are not things that exactly would sell you young or old. So I think you may have turned off a generation, to your point, of young people to the idea of conservatism, though this has not been of late. Same with a lot of suburban and working moms. If you look at the outskirts of Charleston, South Carolina, and look at a precinct level, you saw a massive turnoff by working and suburban moms who said, this is not consistent with what I want to teach my kids. So I think to get young people back, we need to go back again to the ideas of what real conservatism was once about.
The book is called Two Roads Diverged, a second chance for the Republican Party, the conservative movement, the nation, and ourselves. Mark Sanford, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
My pleasure. Thank you.